Oh, because I muted it. That's why I didn't hear it say. Okay. Oh boy. This is like an exercise in trust. I hope someone eventually can let me know if they can hear me because I've muted myself, but I think that's what I do so that I don't hear it on hearing the echo. Welcome to the Habits Overhaul. Not sure if anyone is joining live, but for those of you watching the recording, we're going to get started with just noticing, first of all, our habits and really getting clear on what our habits are saying to us. So I'll give a little intro, first of all, to let you know where I'm coming from. We'll talk about intentions for this series, a little bit about me, a little bit about what EFT is, and then talking about the habits. And today, specifically, habits that are getting in the way of feeling present and habits that we can engage in to help us feel more present. Because the more present that you feel, instead of like worrying about the future or stressing about the past, the more you're able to enjoy your life and enjoy the experience. And that's the biggest part about what I do with my clients, is to really anchor into a deeper sensation of self-love. And then we're going to tap. So first of all, I want you to know this series is here to help bring new awareness to your daily self-love habits, and also maybe to pluck out some of those habits that are not bringing you a deeper self-love. So before we get started, I invite you to consider setting an intention as you watch this episode or working through the journal prompts and doing the series. Consider why you are doing this work. I am choosing to do this overhaul in order to clear some space, bring some new energy, get to know myself in a new way, so that I feel, what are you missing right now that you would like to feel more of? And what would you like to bring your habits into alignment with? And finally, so that people in my life are impacted. That can be your direct family, that can be your coworkers, that can be the world at large. How do you want your habits to impact those around you? And not from a way of people pleasing, but if you fully loved yourself and practice that every day, how could that impact the world around you and the people around you? So, a little bit about me. Oh, yay. Sue's joining. Yay, thanks, Sue. I'll give a mini little introduction. I am an EFT practitioner. I started EFT work in 2020 during the great lockdown, when I needed a new tool to help me process my emotions. And the more that I use this tool, the more I wanted to be able to share it. So as it says here, I believe that we deserve to enjoy our lives to the fullest in the moment, without any expectation of when I am this person, or when I do this thing, or when I have X amount of dollars in my bank account, or when my body looks a certain way, but in the moment, being able to enjoy your life. And so the practices that I teach help you to connect your brain and body back together and drop the negative self-talk and sabotage that may have snuck in. And that's a big thing about what we're going to be talking about over the next 3 days. So also knowing that as you get to know yourself and understand your full spectrum, it helps you to understand others and have a new sense of empathy for them. So EFT, we are going to be learning this today. If you haven't practiced with me before, and some of you have, Sue, I know, has tapped with me a whole bunch. This is a technique that was developed in the 70s, and it's basically a combination of east meets west, because you're going to be tapping on the acupressure points, the same points that would be used for acupuncture, while doing like talk therapy, talking it out, voicing your feelings. And it's, I find, especially for those of us who are always trying to help others, whether that's moms or Sue as a teacher, we tend to keep our feelings under wraps because we're more worried about taking care of the other person. So that's where EFT is a great opportunity to let it out and release that pressure so that your body isn't carrying the emotions. There have been some amazing clinical trials that have come out to show the impact on your brain by using EFT. And it works really fast. It helps to do things like reduce cortisol in your body, and literally change brain patterns so that if you're trying to develop a habit, like we are in this series, tapping will help to reteach your brain, like, oh, instead of when this happens, I do this, like, oh, maybe I can redirect and move a new way. So it's easy to learn. And for practices like I'm going to be teaching this week, these are things that you can do on your own. There are times, and I think I have a slide about this. Yes, so there are other situations when you may need support, but for things like reducing anxiety, reducing symptoms of physical pain, getting reducing those triggers, things like that, these are tips and tricks that you can use for yourself. You don't have to go to someone to do this. If there's deeper levels of dealing with past memories, for example, that's something that it's more of a secure feeling, and it will be more in depth to work with a practitioner to do things like that, because you've probably been kind of building up walls around those memories. But for the work that we're doing over the next 3 days, these are things that you can do on your own, absolutely. And we're going to start with being present today, and then tomorrow talking about forgiving the past. And then on Wednesday, we'll use tapping to help you plan for the future. I'm trying to talk fast, but not talk too fast. So hopefully this is a good pace. So what am I talking about with being present? We live in a world of distractions, and
Are you guys talking break?
A lot of our habits, I mean, a habit is something that you're doing without thinking, right? When it's really locked in, it's a habit that you do without thinking. If you think of a time when you can't remember if you locked the house when you left, or you can't remember if you turned off the stove, that's become an automatic habit that when I'm done, that's the way it is. And these habits are built around the things that we believe are important.
Oh, yes, about the clothes? Yeah.
A great example is that I'm working on with my youngest is you brush your teeth every day, hopefully more than once. because it's important to you to have a healthy mouth.
Sounds good. I'm listening to a
And
podcast. So
For
I
me,
can go back.
like I remind her that it's important. It's nicer not to have the super long dentist appointments.
Hey, we'll see you later.
So that's something that's important to us. We do it. However, there are habits that we've been taught, and there are those that we develop on our own. And
Because what?
think about growing up, there are habits
Well, you,
that
who did you hang out with
learn
before the break?
and from your teachers,
Outside.
and if you have siblings,
Nowhere.
and whether they stick depends on if you have the same priorities as the one who was modeling that habit. So
This is one of my
what I
tapping
can
ladies.
think of is
Is doing a
how-
course,
what level of
Mhm.
cleanliness
getting rid of
I
bad
keep my
habits.
house at compared to my mom, because it's a
You wanna stay
different
with me?
level of
Yeah.
priority for me.
Okay, grab a chair.
Um, which makes it fun sometimes because my mom lives downstairs. So there are certain things that we have agreed to disagree on. And all of these habits reinforce
My name is Shannon.
you
These are,
think, and you may not even think it consciously, but what you think is important about your health, your relationships, your finances, and so much more. So for today, we're going to think of habits as though your life is a garden, and your habits, positive habits, can be like water for the
Habits that you'd like to
you want
change?
grow, or what you want to grow in your life. You want to grow more
what do you mean by that?
energy in your
Addiction.
body. You're
But I
going
got-
to be
I got rid of my
using
phone for a
more
whole month.
Did you?
movement
Yeah.
and,
That's good.
nutrition,
Yeah.
sleep, and things like that. But
So now I'm a
that
little
might
bit
be
better.
different if you have priorities around really
I don't know if
focusing
she'll
on food
tap before
and
the,
alcohol.
before the break.
However, all these things tend to fly together. So as our brain runs
See,
on
tapping,
automatic,
there's a reset button.
there are also habits that kind of fly under the radar. And
Reset.
these are the ones that I call
You
weeds.
calm down.
I know I
You
do.
consider
Super cool.
weeds in a garden. These are the things that suck energy,
Oh no.
like weeds do. They take out the nutrients from the
course.
soil. They block the space
No.
for the light, for the healthy
I'm very
light.
happy.
So habits that are getting in the way of
What are you doing for tonight for your
actual
birthday?
space, or
Friends are
space
coming.
in your calendar, for
Only-
example.
Only one.
And
that
they
my mom
also
knows.
make the environment,
And so
make it
also
really
they have a
good
Betty.
or uninhabitable.
Betty
So
will
they
get
make it harder
somewhat-
for any healthy
Sure.
habit to grow.
My-
If
my
you come home
yummy ice
and
cream cake.
finish a day of
Yeah.
work, and your first
Yeah.
habit is to grab a can, I'll go really extreme, grab a can of beer and
Granted.
smoke a joint. It's going to be pretty hard
You
to
went to a
carry
movie?
on with your other
Okay.
awesome intentions if you've already sent that message to your body. So any little weedy habits that drain your energy might be things like responding to
lost-
text messages the first time that it
Totally forgot about
pings,
them. I know
right?
it.
Picking up your phone the moment you wake up, so that you are kind of checking on other people before checking in with yourself. Just thinking of any time that
City.
you are allowing
No.
kind of mindless habits to happen. It is a drain of your energy.
It's really
So,
funny. I kept.
What we're going to do today is use a short tapping session. Oh,
Oh, it's Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, it's sort of like the Jungle
Okay.
Cruise. It's really fun.
So I'll just mention that last. So tapping is a way to connect your body and your mind. As I said before, you're tapping on
Sandra Bullock. Oh, and
different,
Jaden, Channing
energy
Tatum.
meridians within your
Really
body,
funny.
and I'm going to talk you
We
through
actually
it.
have
You don't
to
have to
describe
have it
that.
memorized,
And then like,
but
probably okay.
considering
Well,
how you're feeling And really
Mhm.
noticing not just the emotion, but where you hold it in your body will help to release that pressure. As you're tapping, you may notice that your body responds by yawning or even burping. Sometimes there's tingling down your body. These are all ways of your body kind of releasing and processing the emotion that you have been holding to yourself. So, Sue, you're here. You can type in the comments if you like and let me know how true this statement is. So we're going to do a short tapping of just to walk people through this process. And after that, I'm going to show you a really short version that you can do for kind of a midday check-in with yourself. What is true? This statement: my habits are a clear reflection of who I want to be. So when you consider how you work through your day, the things that have become a habit, how true is it? And if you're noticing an emotion that comes with that. So on a scale of 1 or 0 to 10, how true is it that your habits are clearly reflecting who you want to be? I need to drink some water. Not really. Okay. Yeah, and that's great to be honest, right? To notice that, okay, I've got this great idea
You
in my
who what
head
is
of this person that I am working towards, and
happy with who
maybe
you are?
who I
Most
want
of
to
the
be is
time.
not who I
Good.
am right now. So that's
Yeah.
a beautiful verbalization of how it feels. And that can feel, how does that feel in your body? Does it feel heavy? Does it feel, well, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but to me, yeah, heavy. It can feel like disappointment to realize that, because I do it too. I say I'm doing all these great things and then oh, uncertainty. Thank you. So this is how tapping works as well, that I try to use your words as much as possible so that your brain actually gets to hear you saying these words. We're going to do a kind of a Simon Says that you will follow along, those of you watching the recording, as I know there's a few people who had to work. You have a student sitting right beside me. So if you're not cool on tapping, Sue, you can still be there. Aw, that's awesome. I love it when teens, well, I think you work with teenagers. It's a great skill. I love tapping with my kids. I can see their faces relax and soften. Happy birthday. That's a big birthday. Congratulations. Oh, and she's an 8 of clubs, same as my kid. Very cool. All right, so we're gonna do our first round of tapping and vent some of this. So I invite you to just take a few breaths and really come into this present space. So I've been talking, you've been listening, and some of that may kind of stir up the emotions a little bit more. So just notice that you are here.
Oh, she did.
Just where you're sitting. I like to kind of give my feet and my seat a little
What did
wiggle
I do?
come
Oh no,
into the
she
present moment.
disappeared.
And again, this is a great way to use tapping to get out of the busy thoughts and just give yourself a
There she is.
moment. So we're going to tap into the intention of
Want to do this with me?
being
Yeah.
mindful with our habits today. We'll start on the side of the hand. Even though when it comes to my habits,
Even though when it comes to my habits,
sometimes I get frustrated.
Sometimes I get frustrated.
sometimes I get frustrated
because it doesn't feel like I'm doing the things that I want to be doing.
because it feels like I'm not
Not
doing the things that I
that
should be and want to do. I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and
Completely
completely
love.
love and
Sometimes
accept
I look at my habits
Even though sometimes I look at my habits
even though sometimes I look at my
I wonder
habit.
how they're going to get me where I want to be.
and I wonder how they're going to get me to where I want to be,
And I wonder where they
where you want to
I
be.
recognize
where
this
I
now,
want to be.
I
and I
recognize
love
this
and
now
accept all
I
things.
recognize this now,
and I love and accept myself
And-
anyway.
and I love and accept myself anyway.
No, my habits don't always align.
Even
even
though
though
my habits don't
They
always
feel
align. Give us a second.
in my body.
And they feel heavy in my
They
body.
feel heavy in my body.
I'm getting ready to release that frustration today.
I'm getting ready to release that
Because I love and
frustration.
accept it.
Today.
And I deeply and completely accept all parts of me.
And I deeply come
Okay.
accept
All
all
of these things I should be doing.
All of these things I should be doing.
Eyebrow point. These other habits are getting in the way.
And these other habits are getting in the way.
and these other
They make me feel uncertain
they make me feel uncertain.
under the eyes. And right now my habits are weighing me down.
Right now, my habits are
Alright.
weighing me down.
Right now my habits are weighing me down.
I have a picture in my mind of who I want to be.
I
We have a picture in my
head of who I want to be.
And it doesn't feel like I'm doing the work.
It doesn't feel like I'm doing the work.
I feel like
Right
I'm
here.
putting a lot of pressure on myself.
I feel like I'm putting a lot of pressure on
I
myself.
feel like I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself.
I wonder if there's a way
Or if there's a way
I went to such a way
I can relieve some of this pressure.
that I can relieve some of this pressure.
pressure.
This point, so that my habits feel easier.
So that my habits feel
So that
easier.
my habits feel easier.
Pause
Okay,
there
take a
and
breath.
Let me know, well, Sue, if anything new came up for you. And these different sections are the venting, curiosity, and then allowing. And that's really the conversation that you can be having with yourself when you're tapping is like, okay, I'm feeling this stuff. Let's get that out. And that after a round should bring the frustration down. Oh, totally. That's okay. Thanks for joining us, Sue. I need to watch the So
They're encouraging it.
like,
They're being
in
bullied.
that cycle of I should be doing this stuff. and
So you can
that
visit?
doing this stuff. It's not a super motivator. So this is where curiosity can come in.
You're really killing this. Oh, you
What is that?
You missed. I'm glad you like it.
I love it.
Wait, what is on the screen right now? What's on the screen? Idiot sitcom? Oh, I don't even know.
Do you want to take this in the hallway and do it?
What are we doing?
So curious that I know
Oh, switch because I gotta tell my Carter that I
You read.
read. That's why I gotta tell you that. You always say the opposite. No proper grammar. Alex is gonna come after school. So I'll just read that.
we can begin to release the negative.
Oh, I just turned it.
Just continuing to focus on itself. Thanks.
I can't remember if you answered my question or not.
I don't know if I answered questions or not. Hang on. Yeah, you can go.
Depending on how intense the feelings are, but I just want to walk you through it this time. So, getting curious about the truth of why these habits are there and whether they need to stay. Even though I have habits that are getting in my way and they don't feel like a reflection of who I want to be, I also see all the ways that I am trying my best. Even though I get frustrated with myself when I'm not doing all the things. I also see the ways that I am doing the things. And I'm getting ready to focus on those first. Even though sometimes my habits make me feel uncertain. I am getting ready to bring in some new empathy for myself, especially because I love and accept myself completely. Top of the head. Maybe it's not necessary to be perfect at my habits. Eyebrow point. How would it feel to let go of perfection? Side of the eye. Because that seems to be a stumbling block. Under the eyes. I wonder if I could keep my habits in view under the nose while also allowing some grace under the mouth. When I look at how far I've come over the last year, 2 years, beyond. Collarbone point. I do notice all the progress. Under the arms. How would it feel to let these habits grow at their own pace? Under the chest, so that I can celebrate the baby steps. Wrist point. I'm getting ready to set aside perfectionism. Top of the head. And I recognize the progress that I have taken. Eyebrow point. Maybe I'm ready to move at my own pace. Side of the eye. Because I deserve to celebrate the work that I am doing. Okay, I hope that feels good. I'm just going to double check in the Facebook group to see, make sure nothing's happening there, because, okay. All good. So I'm not missing something. I don't know how to click back and forth. So the final round is we've gone from, because we never want to force any feelings. So hopefully that the hope is moving up instead of the judgment, and allowing this possibility of letting your habits be a reflection of who you want to be and not expecting perfection. So we're going to just tap in some affirmations. And when you get to that point, you can just start with top of the head. You don't have to necessarily do the setup phrases at the beginning. So, top of the head. I am becoming a reflection of who I want to be. My eyebrow point. And my habits are getting stronger and clearer every day. Side of the eye. I'm letting go of self-judgment. Under the eyes. And I am proud of every baby step I have taken. Under the nose, even if it doesn't seem like progress at the time. Under the nose, I am clearing the weeds. Collarbone point. To make space for my powerful intentions to grow. Under the arms. I am becoming the greatest version of myself. Under the chest. And I am allowing this to take as much time as it needs to take. This point. I am comfortable in my habits. Top of the head. And I allow them to reflect me with joy. So, bring that in. This is energy work as well as neuroscience. So allow those intentions to really anchor into your body. And this is also a great time to make any notes in your journal. So this is the idea that I'm doing with this series is to give you some different ways to use tapping. And for today, with the idea of being more present, is to consider using a little midday check-in of tapping. And this can also be done on the sides of the nails. If you are in a lunchroom cafeteria, for example, and you don't want to be tapping all over your upper body, you could have your hands under your desk and just tap this way on the sides of the nail beds and just breathing in awareness. But this is the short little practice that you can use for yourself to take a few minutes to answer the questions. How do I feel in my body, in my mind? What are the racing thoughts? Where are the emotions felt and what are they? And you can just literally tap that out. How am I feeling? Okay, I'm feeling tired, I'm feeling frustrated, I'm feeling great. That's always an option. Tapping that out, breathe that in without any like, I should be doing this, I should be, just noticing the feelings. And then asking the question, how do I want to feel? And what's stopping me? What's getting in the way? I want to feel peaceful, but I can't because I haven't gotten all my jobs done. I want to feel loving, but I can't because my husband's annoying. No, anything like that. So what is getting in the way? And then finally, so breathing that in, and how would it feel to allow something different? And maybe I'll add at the bottom there that what would that something different be? And this isn't something that I'm saying like midday check-in, choose to be happy, and then ding, you're going to be there for the rest of the day. How would peaceful feel for 2 minutes? Just allow that sensation to come in. How would joyful feel? How would calm feel? Not expecting to feel it for the rest of the day, but just again, we're letting go of the past, we're letting go of the future, being present, and just bringing that sensation in. And it will create physiological changes within your body so that you have that peaceful moment. And then you're able to move forward, making decisions from a different space, making different choices, and taking different actions. So this is the midday way to use EFT tapping. Again, you could use your whole body if you want, or do the little finger tap. So for the day one, and now I realize I think I emailed this to everybody. I will re-email it maybe along with the recording. So checking in with your habits, and this can feel a little yucky at first if you have a lot of habits that are getting in your way. But just be kind to yourself and try and do the tracking without judgment, but noticing, using the concept of weeds versus water. So is this a habit that is watering, like nourishing the person that I want to be, or is it a weed? Is it getting in the way? And I made you a little PDF to use that. I modeled that off the Atomic Habits tracker, but I mean, tracking is tracking. So I like the vision of weeding or watering. Am I growing the person, or am I getting in the way? Is it like gross vines growing all over what I want to be? And then a little question for you to finish with is, what kind of habits were modeled to me growing up? And this is bringing in some forgiveness as well, that maybe some of these habits are things that have been around you for a long time, and bringing this full awareness to them will help you decide, like, is this something that I want, or was it just something that was taught to me was important? Maybe it's not important for me. Maybe I can let it go and do it something else. So I would love to hear in the Facebook group, or if you're responding by email, how you found this first session. And thank you so much for watching. I will stop things from happening at this point.